Chosen one, the reason the panic is spreading in their ranks is simple. Their Masonic establishment is shattering because your very existence is delivering the severe judgment they thought they were immune to. You bring the judgment they cannot outrun. Your blood type isn't random. Some of you carry genetic markers from lineages that predate this Masonic cult by thousands of years. They know this. They've researched you. Your DNA carries codes from ancient civilizations, bloodlines with supernatural abilities hardwired into your genetics. This is why they were so obsessed with blood rituals involving you, not just to harm you, to harvest what makes you special, to tap into genetic power they don't possess, to corrupt your bloodline so future generations wouldn't carry the same gifts. But blood magic only works when the source is willing or broken. You're neither. That karmic friend wasn't just emotionally manipulative. They were putting things in your products, your food, your drinks, slow poisoning designed to look natural, murder disguised as friendship, and the karmic cousin was coordinating with them at family gatherings you thought were safe spaces. One night you meditated, one sincere prayer from a pure heart. You connected with your ancestors, tapped into the Most High, and protections activated that they can't penetrate. Their spells started backfiring immediately, rituals reversing, curses returning multiplied. Now illness is manifesting in their bodies, cancer appearing, autoimmune diseases coming from nowhere, mental breakdowns, physical consequences of the spiritual warfare they initiated against you. They know it's karmic. They understand the direct link to what they attempted. But knowing doesn't help them, because karmic debt doesn't care about regret, it cares about balance. There's a Masonic warlock at the center of this web, someone who climbed lodge ranks by performing dark rituals others wouldn't, blood sacrifices that earned them power but cost them their soul. This person is physically diseased now from the practices they engaged in, and there's a wave of illness moving through this entire Masonic network. Not random, karmic justice manifesting in physical bodies. Invitations came to gatherings, Masonic events disguised as social functions. The goal was getting you into their space, their energy field, where they could work on you directly, but something in your spirit said no, every single time. You couldn't explain why. You just knew. That was your ancestors protecting you, the Most High guiding you away from danger, your own soul recognizing the trap. The public official involved has a reputation to protect, a career that depends on public trust, a family with no idea what's really happening, and it's all about to crumble. Because when this exposure happens, there's no damage control strong enough to save anyone. Surveillance footage from times they didn't know cameras existed, phone records they thought were deleted, witnesses they assumed they'd silenced forever. The walls are closing in from every direction. They've been targeting your nervous system with frequency weapons, trying to make you anxious, disrupt your sleep, create physical symptoms to make you think you're losing your mind. But your body is upgrading. Your nervous system is being rewired by divine intelligence. What should have broken you is activating dormant abilities instead. That ex who seemed just toxic, their life is crumbling in real time, and they know it's connected to how they treated you. This wasn't just a bad relationship. This was a demonic assignment. They were sent specifically to drain your energy, steal your ideas, monitor your movements. When you were together, they thrived. Their career took off. Opportunities came to them. They seemed successful and confident, but all of it was borrowed from your light. They were plugged into your energy field like a parasite. Now that you've cut them off, the illusion is collapsing. The job they got while with you, they're about to lose it. The success they projected, it's evaporating. Without access to you, they're back to being exactly what they were before. Empty. They've been doing spiritual work trying to pull you back. Love spells, obsession rituals, binding ceremonies, spending money they don't have on practitioners, making offerings to entities, performing midnight rituals, all trying to regain access to your energy field, but it's not working, because you're not the same person they manipulated before. You've upgraded, your discernment is sharper, your boundaries are stronger, your spiritual protection is impenetrable. This karmic has been spreading rumors, playing victim to anyone who will listen, telling twisted versions where they're innocent and you're cruel. But here's what's happening. The people who believe their lies are exactly the people who needed to be filtered out of your life anyway. The Most High is using their gossip as a divine sorting mechanism. There might be a child involved. Either they claimed you were the parent in an attempt to trap you, or you're discovering they had a secret child with someone else, maybe even with your friend. Truth is coming out now. DNA tests are revealing reality. Court documents are exposing lies. The manipulation is becoming undeniable. Bank statements are revealing secret accounts. Phone records are damning. Screenshots are being saved. Evidence is piling up about a whole other life they were living, funded by resources you provided, meeting up with people you trusted while they told you they were somewhere else. The betrayal is complete, but so is your clarity. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. Your twin flame is discovering similar things about their karmic situation, hidden messages, secret accounts, evidence of affairs with people they trusted, a situation that was actually a demonic assignment, keeping them entangled and unavailable. This wasn't coincidence. This was strategic interference by the same network targeting you. They've had practitioners working on your twin too. Love spells keeping them bound to the wrong person, confusion spells making them doubt the connection with you, delay spells making the timing feel perpetually off. But your twin is waking up now, having realizations about who's been in their life, and the karmic in their space is getting desperate, more aggressive, more unhinged, because they can feel the shift happening. This desperate karmic has been doing their own spiritual work, going to practitioners, spending money on spells, making offerings to entities that promise to keep your twin attached. But none of it's working anymore, because you can't use dark magic to override a divine assignment, and this twin flame union is divinely ordained. We need to address something extremely dark. There's a network within this Masonic structure that's been kidnapping gifted children for generations, star children, souls who incarnated with special abilities, kids who show signs of psychic gifts, healing abilities, supernatural awareness. They identify them early and target them systematically. There was literally a plan to have you kidnapped. People who were supposed to love you organized with strangers to have you removed permanently. They were going to invite you somewhere under false pretenses, hand you over to people who would ensure you never fulfilled your destiny. But your angels said not today. Your ancestors intervened. Your grandmother positioned herself in the spiritual realm specifically to block their plans. Whatever protected you then is still protecting you now. But you're grown, aware, activated, and they can't touch you the way they touch others. Yet the surveillance continues. The monitoring persists, because they're still trying to figure out how to neutralize the threat you represent. There are people involved who present themselves as respectable community members, church leaders, school officials, youth program coordinators, people parents trust with their children, but behind closed doors, they're part of something sinister. They've been getting away with it because the system protects its own. Until now, the FBI is investigating, not because they suddenly became righteous, because the evidence has become too obvious to ignore. Too many missing children with similar profiles, too many connections to the same organizations, too many witnesses finding the courage to speak up. Investigators have found body parts, evidence of rituals that require human sacrifice, documentation that proves intent. Your grandmother didn't just pass away. They transitioned strategically. They saw what was coming in the spiritual realm. They knew the attacks would intensify, So they positioned themselves on the other side, where they could intercept curses before they reached you, stand between you and every demon they sent, whisper warnings in your dreams, guide you away from danger. You thought you just had good instincts. That was divine protection working overtime. Your spiritual gifts are exploding right now. Abilities you had in past lives are coming back online. Skills you mastered centuries ago are reactivating. Powers that got you killed before because establishments couldn't control you. But this lifetime is different. This lifetime you're protected. This lifetime you win. You're becoming clairvoyant, seeing things before they happen, having visions that later prove accurate, knowing who's calling before you check your phone, predicting outcomes that seem impossible to predict. This isn't coincidence. This is your third eye fully opening. You're picking up divine intelligence in real time. The clairaudience is developing too. You're hearing things in the spiritual realm, picking up conversations people are having about you, even when you're not there, receiving downloads from the Most High during mundane tasks, hearing warnings about situations before you walk into them. Your spiritual ears are tuning into frequencies most people can't perceive. Your timeline jumping. This is going to sound wild, but you're literally moving between realities. One moment you're vibrating at a frequency where certain attacks can reach you. The next moment you've shifted dimensions and they're aiming at empty space. This is why their magic keeps failing. They're targeting a version of you that's already moved to a different timeline. Animals respond to you differently now. Dogs either love you immediately or bark because your energy is too intense. Cats stare at you like they see something others don't. Birds follow you. Crows and ravens specifically. They recognize you as one of their own, a fellow traveler between worlds. Children stare at you in public. They're not being rude. They can still see auras. They see the light around you and wonder why adults can't. Technology glitches around you when you're emotional. Streetlights flicker when you walk under them. Electronics malfunction. Phones act strange. Computers freeze. Not because you're broken, because you're powerful. Your electromagnetic field affects technology in ways science is only beginning to understand. You're having downloads in your dreams, receiving information you couldn't possibly know through normal means, waking up with solutions to problems you fell asleep stressed about, getting warnings about people before you meet them. This is your higher self communicating with your conscious mind. The veil between dimensions is thinning for you. Here's what the Masons are really terrified about. You're accessing knowledge directly from source that they've been gatekeeping for centuries. The mystery schools they corrupted. You're tapping into the original uncorrupted teachings, the sacred geometry they use in their lodges. You understand it intuitively, without needing their degrees or initiations. The cosmic laws they pretend to guard. You're living them naturally. They spent decades climbing through degrees, memorizing rituals, paying dues, taking oaths, all to access spiritual knowledge they thought only they possessed. Then you show up. No initiation, no oath, no payment, and you're operating at levels most of their members will never reach, because you went straight to the source. You bypassed their entire corrupted system. This is why they watch you so obsessively. They're trying to figure out how you're doing it, how you're accessing information you shouldn't have, how you're performing spiritual feats without their training, how you're manifesting results that should require their methods. And the answer is simple, but devastating to their worldview. You don't need them. You never did. Your intuition is operating at supernatural levels now. That gut feeling isn't just instinct anymore. It's direct communication from your higher self, from your ancestors, from the Most High. When something's off, you know it instantly. When someone's lying, you feel it in your body. When an opportunity is real, you recognize it immediately. Trust this guidance. It's more reliable than any external advice. They're having emergency sessions about you, not regular meetings, emergency gatherings, specifically to address the problem you represent, because you're not just awakening yourself, you're waking up others. People who were loyal to the lodge for years are questioning everything after encountering your energy. Members are leaving, secrets are being revealed. Their carefully constructed hierarchy is crumbling because you're showing people there's another way. You represent the democratization of spiritual knowledge, the end of gatekeeping, the collapse of systems that hoard wisdom for power, and this terrifies them because their entire structure is built on exclusivity, on making people feel lucky to be chosen, on creating artificial scarcity around information that should be freely available. You're proving that anyone can access source directly, and that makes their organization obsolete. There's a massive wealth transfer coming your way right now. Everything they stole is being returned with interest. The inheritance money they diverted through forged probate documents, the insurance payouts they claimed by filing you as dead, the opportunities they blocked, the ideas they took credit for, all of it is being released at divine timing. This isn't just about justice. This is about equipping you for the mission ahead. You with resources is their worst nightmare. They know you won't use money the way they do. You won't hoard it or use it to control people. You're going to fund missions that dismantle their operations, support people who expose their crimes, build systems that replace their corrupt structures. They knew this was coming. Psychics told them you were chosen for wealth. That's why they fought so hard to keep you broke. Poor people are easier to control. Desperate people make compromised decisions, but you stayed in integrity even when it hurt. You refused to sell out even when you were struggling, and that's why the blessing coming to you is unstoppable. Some of you are about to receive sudden unexpected money, an inheritance you didn't know about, a lawsuit settlement from something you forgot about, a business opportunity that seems too good to be true, but is actually divinely orchestrated. When it hits your account, you'll understand why they fought so hard to prevent it. Others are about to experience rapid career advancement, promotions you didn't apply for, job offers from companies you never contacted, opportunities that bypass the normal process because you're being divinely positioned. Your gifts are about to be recognized by people who have the power to elevate you. The vindication is going to be public. Everything they said about you that was a lie will be proven false where people can see it. Every rumor they spread will be exposed as slander in undeniable ways. Every person they turned against you will see the truth and feel the weight of their misjudgment. The doors opening for you are doors you never knocked on. The connections forming are with people you never pursued. The opportunities appearing are things you never applied for, because your season of suffering just graduated into your season of reigning. Everyone who watched you struggle is about to watch you soar. Money is just energy, and energy flows toward those who can steward it wisely. They've been blocking your financial blessings because they know what you'll do with resources. You're not going to buy meaningless status symbols. You're not going to hoard it in offshore accounts. You're going to weaponize it against their entire corrupt system. The Masons have always understood that controlling money means controlling people. That's why they infiltrated banking systems. They created economic structures that benefit themselves. They made it nearly impossible for outsiders to accumulate real wealth. But you're breaking through anyway, because divine provision doesn't require their permission or their systems. You're about to fund things that directly oppose their agenda, platforms that expose corruption, organizations that help ritual abuse survivors, legal teams going after untouchable criminals. Every dollar coming to you is a dollar they lose power over, and they know it. Your financial breakthrough is also their exposure, because when you prosper despite their sabotage, it proves their power was always an illusion. When you succeed without their approval, it reveals their gatekeeping was never necessary. When you build without their blessing, it demonstrates their entire system was built on lies. Your success is their judgment, manifesting in the material realm. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope, their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. Your twin flame situation is shifting dramatically right now. Whatever's been blocking the union is being removed. Whoever's been interfering is being relocated spiritually and sometimes physically. The timing that felt perpetually off is about to feel divinely orchestrated. Your twin is leaving their karmic situation. Maybe they found evidence that made denial impossible. Maybe they just woke up one day and couldn't pretend anymore. Maybe the karmic showed their true colors in ways that couldn't be explained away. However it's happening, the separation is occurring. This karmic is not going quietly. There's drama. There are accusations, desperate attempts to make your twin feel guilty for choosing themselves. But your twin is seeing through the manipulation now. The tears that used to work aren't working anymore. The threats that used to control aren't controlling anymore. The game is over. As your twin extracts themselves from that toxic situation, they're naturally being drawn back to you. Not because you're chasing them, not because you're manipulating them, because authentic soul connections don't need force, they just need clarity, and your twin is getting clearer every day. When you two finally come together fully, the world is going to feel the shift. This isn't just about your personal happiness. Your union is strategic. There's work you're supposed to do together, people you're supposed to reach together, systems you're supposed to build together. The enemy knew this. That's why they fought so hard to keep you apart. Together, your gifts complement perfectly. What you struggle with, they excel at. Where they have blind spots, you see clearly. Your strengths combined create something exponentially more powerful than either of you alone. This is why twin flames are so aggressively attacked. Because united, you're unstoppable. The mission you're walking into together is bigger than you realize right now. It's going to reach people across the globe, impact generations you'll never meet, dismantle structures that have stood for centuries. And it all starts with you two choosing each other despite everything designed to keep you apart. A proposal is coming, a commitment is being made, an official recognition of what's always been true spiritually. And when that happens, when you make that public declaration of union, expect the attacks to intensify briefly. The enemy always fights hardest right before they lose completely. But you're both protected. The ancestors on both sides are coordinating. The angels assigned to your union are working overtime. The Most High is personally invested in this connection. And what God has joined together, witchcraft cannot separate. Your children, whether biological or spiritual, are going to carry even stronger gifts. The next generation coming through your union will be part of the complete dismantling of these dark systems. This is generational warfare, and you're winning, not eventually. Now, people are coming forward with information, documents are being leaked, recordings are surfacing, the whole corrupt structure is being revealed from the inside out. That public official involved in this Masonic network, their name is about to be in headlines. The charges are serious enough that their career is over. Their reputation will be destroyed, their family will be devastated, and all of it could have been avoided if they had just left you alone. The dirty cops who helped cover their crimes are being investigated by federal authorities. Internal affairs is involved. The FBI is building cases. Some of them are already trying to flip on each other. They're making deals to reduce their own sentences. The brotherhood they swore to protect is crumbling under pressure. The practitioners who took money to curse you, their businesses are being shut down. Some are being exposed publicly for fraud. Others are experiencing karmic backfire so severe they're unable to work. A few are dealing with legal issues that will prevent them from ever practicing again. Your demonic family members are turning on each other. The stress of impending exposure is fracturing their unity. They're blaming each other for the situation, accusing each other of being sloppy, fighting over money and assets before authorities freeze everything. It's chaos among them. Some of them are trying to reach out to you now, suddenly wanting to reconcile, claiming they've changed, asking for forgiveness, but their timing reveals their motive. They're not sorry for what they did. They're scared of what's coming, and they're hoping your mercy will translate to protection. It won't. The evidence against them is overwhelming. Surveillance footage from times and places they didn't know cameras existed, financial records showing money trails they thought were hidden, testimony from people they assumed would stay silent forever. The case against them is airtight. Some of them are going to prison, long sentences for serious crimes, federal facilities where their connections can't protect them, where their Masonic affiliations might actually make things worse, where they'll have years to contemplate the choices that led them there. Others are facing civil suits that will bankrupt them. They're going to lose their houses, lose their businesses, lose everything they gained through corruption. The material wealth they chose over integrity is being stripped away publicly and permanently. A few are experiencing health crises directly tied to the spiritual work they did against you. Cancers are appearing aggressively, autoimmune diseases with no clear cause, mental breakdowns requiring hospitalization. Their bodies are manifesting the poison they tried to send to you. And through it all, you're just living your life. You didn't have to hire lawyers. You didn't have to gather evidence. You didn't have to plot revenge. You just had to exist in your truth and let divine justice handle the rest. The Masonic network thought they were untouchable because they had people in every institution, judges on the bench, prosecutors in the courts, police in the streets, politicians in office, media controlling the narratives. They built a web of protection so complete they believed nothing could touch them, but they forgot one crucial detail. No human system is stronger than divine judgment. No network is more powerful than God. No oath binds tighter than cosmic law. And you're bringing all of that down on their heads just by walking in your truth. The judges who were compromised, they're being removed from the bench. The prosecutors who looked the other way, they're being investigated themselves. The police who covered up crimes, they're being prosecuted. The politicians who enabled abuse, they're being voted out or exposed. The media that suppressed the truth, they're losing credibility and audience. You're watching an entire corrupt ecosystem collapse in real time, and it's not because you organized a movement, not because you led a revolution. It's because you refused to participate in their lies. You said no to their invitations. You walked away from their offers. You stood in integrity when corruption was the easier path, and your simple obedience to truth is dismantling everything they built on lies. Your voice is about to reach people globally, not because you're chasing fame, because your message is needed. Your testimony is going to set people free. Your story is going to give others permission to walk away from their own toxic situations. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing lineages. You're going to build something that outlasts you, a business, a ministry, a movement, something that continues impacting people long after you're gone. And the same people who tried to stop you are going to watch you build it. Their children might even benefit from what you create. That's the level of grace you're operating in. The Masons are still watching you, but now they're watching in defeat. They see you rising and they know they can't stop it. Some are leaving the organization because your success proves everything they were taught was a lie. You're not supposed to be able to succeed outside their system, but you are, dramatically. Your union with your twin is going to be legendary, not perfect, not without challenges, but powerful, aligned, purposeful. You're going to build an empire together, raise children together, change the world together, change the world together. And people are going to look at your relationship as proof that soul connections can survive anything. The portal is open, the ancestors are active, the angels are on assignment, and you're right on time. Everything you've been through was preparation. Everything you're walking into is destiny. Your season of dominion is beginning. Walk in it with confidence, move in it with grace. Trust that the same power that brought you through everything up to now is more than enough to carry you through what's ahead. The judgment you're bringing isn't cruel, it's necessary. It's the correction the world needs. It's the exposure that brings healing. It's the reckoning that restores balance, and you're the vessel through which it flows. Every day you wake up and choose yourself. You're bringing judgment to their system. Every time you refuse their manipulation, you're dismantling their power. Every moment you stand in your truth, you're participating in the divine plan to restore order. This is bigger than you, but it's also for you. Your peace matters, your joy matters, your freedom matters. And the same God who's using you to bring judgment is also fighting to give you the life you've always deserved. The checkered floor in their lodges represents duality, light and dark, good and evil. They claim to balance both, but you represent something beyond their comprehension. You represent the transcendence of duality. You operate from a place beyond their either-or paradigm, and that's why their magic doesn't work on you. You're playing a completely different game. They've been using sacred symbols for profane purposes, taking divine geometry and perverting it for control and manipulation. But every symbol they misuse is now turning against them. The very emblems they wear on their rings and lapels are becoming marks of judgment. What they thought gave them power is now identifying them for exposure. You represent something they thought they'd destroyed centuries ago. The original knowledge keepers, the true priests and priestesses who operated in divine alignment before secret societies corrupted the mysteries. You carry that original frequency, that uncorrupted transmission, and your very existence proves their entire system is built on lies. They dropped the ball trying to keep you down, and in that moment you picked up a crown, not because you took it from them, because it was always yours. You're a reincarnated sovereign, a divine being in human form, a chosen one who refused to stay sleeping. The Masons don't like you, and that's exactly how you know you're doing something right. Because when darkness panics at your presence, when corruption crumbles at your approach, when systems shake at your activation, you're not the problem, you're the solution. Welcome to your reign, the emergency meeting they're having about you right now. Let them meet, let them scheme, let them panic. Because while they're plotting in the dark, you're rising in the light, and light always wins. You're not fighting for a position, you're operating from one. You're not trying to prove you're chosen, you're simply being what you've always been. You're not climbing their ladder, you transcended their entire hierarchy the moment you remembered who you are. The degrees they earned through years of ritual, meaningless compared to the direct transmission you received in meditation, the connections they cultivated through secret handshakes, nothing compared to your relationship with Source, the power they accumulated through blood oaths, incomparable to the authority given to you by divine appointment. You're not even trying, you're just existing, just being yourself, just walking in your truth. And that alone is enough to dismantle everything they worked for centuries to establish, because truth doesn't need to fight. It just needs to be present, and lies collapse in proximity to authenticity. The next generation is watching you, the children who were supposed to be targeted like you were, the gifted ones who were marked for programming, the star seeds who were identified for suppression. They're seeing you thrive despite everything thrown at you, and they're learning something powerful. Survival is possible, victory is inevitable, freedom is their birthright. You're not just saving yourself, you're showing the way for everyone coming after you. The blueprint you're creating through your life is going to be studied. The path you're clearing is going to be traveled. The doors you're opening are going to benefit people you'll never meet. This is bigger than personal triumph. This is generational liberation. Your legacy is being written right now, not in lodge records or secret documents, in the lives you're changing, the people you're inspiring, the systems you're dismantling, the truth you're speaking, the light you're shining, the courage you're embodying. That's the legacy that lasts. The crown you're wearing now isn't one they can take. It was placed by divine hands, forged in the fires you survived, earned through the battles you won, sealed by the blood of ancestors who paved the way. This crown is permanent, unshakable, eternal. You are the judgment they feared, the reckoning they tried to prevent, the exposure they worked to avoid. You are the answer to prayers spoken by the oppressed, the manifestation of justice too long delayed, the beginning of the end for every corrupt system. You've already won, chosen one. The outcome was never in doubt. The victory was determined before the first attack was launched. You were always going to rise. They were always going to fall. This was always how the story ends. The Masons don't like you, but the Most High loves you, and that's the only opinion that matters. That's the only endorsement you need. That's the only backing that counts. Everything else is noise. Everything else is distraction. Everything else is beneath the level you're operating on now. This is your time, chosen one. Your moment, your season, your reign, and absolutely nothing in heaven or earth or hell can stop what has been ordained for your life. Nothing.